Today's video, we're going to talk about YouTube brand lift studies or study. What is this and what makes it make you more money, or does it even make you any more money at all? So first of all, to start out, a brand lift study is something that YouTube has came out with recently. That it's not for everybody, but if you're have a larger spending Google Ads account and you're running YouTube ads, probably from a larger brand, your advertising reps will have reached out to some information about surveys that they would push out on YouTube for you that would then show up for somebody that has had your video ad on YouTube show up for already, to ask them if they are familiar with your brand. Now, obviously they don't do that directly, and I'm sure you've seen this if you spent any kind of time on YouTube before. Little ask question, as opposed to having an ad, there'll be a questionnaire and it'll say, are you interested in any one of these products? And there'll be an option, there'll be like 4 options there. And if you could say none of the above, and then you're done. Well, naturally, if the person that saw your ad had mentioned that they know you, now they can, in their mind at least, prove that the ads that you ran for your brand, for your company, works, because they got now brand recall. Which, yeah, for big companies, they're not so much looking for click-through on your ads and sales and directly attributable sales that come from ads on YouTube or any other place that you're running ads online. You're looking for recall rates, that is showing ads, having people recognize the advertising that they see, but they can remember your brand name. That in and itself is, I still don't understand to this day why big companies are doing that, other than the fact that the advertising agencies are explaining to the companies that this is the important metric. It's not the most important metric. Even big companies can do stuff and track the sales lift that they're getting directly from an ad they're running. I don't care if you're Oreo cookies or M&Ms. There's a way to track it a lot better than just understanding what the recall rate is of the brand out there, which I'm going to talk about in today's video. What the alternatives are, how you can actually get more out of your YouTube ads than just listening or believing what your reps are saying, is your recall rate of your brand name after they saw a YouTube ad on YouTube. So with that said, a brand lift study looks at the brand recall rate through customer surveys, as I mentioned, that run on YouTube after somebody sees an ad on YouTube. And so with that, them being so kind to do that, to hopefully convince you to run more ads on the YouTube ad platform, or just keep running them, but more so run more ads. Because Google reps, what they're there to do more than anything is to get you to spend more money. They're basically, they call themselves a rep. They're not, rep can be somebody that's a salesman, and really that's what they are. They're salesmen. Salesman in disguise, whatever you want to say, call it. You could say it's nefarious. Really, it is what it is. They're trying to get you to advertise more, and hopefully they can do it in a way for you that's going to make you more money too. But if legitimately all it's going to do is make them more money, they don't care. As long as you're willing to spend more money, doesn't matter. And so with that, just know that going in, because Google's got to make more money for their shareholders. That's something that's mandated by their corporate bylaws and corporate law. They can't, if they have to turn down revenue to make you more money, that they're actually breaking the law themselves. So you got to think for yourself, and nobody else is going to think for you, okay? Their way to show you that a YouTube ad works, to convince you to spend more money on YouTube ads, is to have you run your ad and then have a survey show up for somebody later on asking if you are familiar with your product. If you sell a CRM system, it's going to say, which of these CRMs are you most familiar with? And if they select with your name being one of the 3 or 4 that are showing, If they select yours more often than not, they can say, hey, look, this has got more people that remember your brand name and know of your brand name than before. Which, by the way, that fundamental concept isn't all trash, because we run ads all the time on YouTube purely from the standpoint not to get an immediate click through the ad, to get an immediate action from the user, but purely, and this is for small companies, mind you, that when they're going to go ahead, if we're a CRM company, going back to that example, if they're going to type in CRM companies or CRM softwares on Google later on, we want them to be able to recognize our name, so they're more likely to click on our ad, given we only can get so far with our ads if they're not familiar with us. And we can invest money going after people on YouTube that are researching CRM systems, in market for CRM systems, get in with them right before they go ahead and make that Google search, so we get a lot more out of our Google search ads. That's a really great way to scale ads for your company once you've gotten all the low-hanging fruit out of a search ad running for your company already. So brand recall can translate into more money, okay? But you shouldn't settle for that. What I'm suggesting to you here is to do things more so my way, or at least consider doing it first. There might be some cases where you can't do it my way or don't want to, that's fine, but I'm at least giving you here some alternatives, which 90% of the time you want to go with the alternatives. That is, you run an ad on YouTube, okay, and you see if it's you actually are getting return on investment, or more importantly, it's not even about return on investment. It's about where can I get the best return for my money? Is it on YouTube? Is it on Google Search? Is it on Google Display Network? Where is it I can get the best bang for my buck? You run an ad, and instead of doing this brand survey stuff to test brand recall rates, you can go ahead and check your view-through conversion rate. View-through conversions, if you aren't familiar with it yet, that is specifically somebody who saw your ad, they saw your video ad, and then within 30 days time, or 90 days time, did they ultimately go to your site and buy? Or did they turn into a lead? And you could, because Google gives you these stats as well. Personally, I'm going to say that's a heck of a lot better indicator as to whether your YouTube ads are working. More so just from the standpoint that it's not going to tell you that just YouTube's ads work. You can actually do something if they aren't working well enough, or just to get more out of them, because you can figure out what placements are working, which is the bigger factor on YouTube of what's going to make it work more or less. And for each channel that your ads are showing, you can tell whether you're getting directly attributable revenue. And the reason why view-through conversions are important is because typically, the reason why Google has even went through the trouble of doing these brand recall studies for you, is because they know it's hard to convince you to spend more money when you don't know if they're working or not. Why they don't focus on view-through conversions is pretty simple. When they always had that option, is because a lot of people don't know how to make video ads that are productive, and they know they don't work. So they're not going to see people go to their website and buy. And of course, a lot of brands, there's nothing to buy on their website. So I understand it has to be done sometimes from their perspective. But ultimately, to really be able to optimize your marketing budget, you got to be able to see where the rubber meets the road on what you're doing, so you can actually optimize. Otherwise, where are you going to go with it, even if you are making money? So you look at and see, and you can do this through the conversion goal menu on your Google Ads account. You can adjust the view-through window, if you will, how many days it's going to allow you to track from the time someone's seen a video ad on YouTube that you're running to the time the maximum amount of time that they have to go to your site to buy or turn into a lead. And I'm going to use that as an indication of how much my ads are working more than any brand lift study, if and when I can do it. If I am the Oreo cookies, there's nothing to buy on my website itself, then I'm going to go with the second option, which is still better than the brand recall study, which is your conversion lift study. Which, if you don't know what conversion lift studies are, this is specifically where you're going to basically, let's say you are Oreo cookies, okay? Going back to that example again. Everybody loves Oreo cookies, so I'll speak on that. And knows what it is. If you are Oreo, trying to run YouTube ads for Oreo cookie customers. People that have propensity to like junk food would be maybe what you're doing there. Anyway, so what you want to do to see if these YouTube ads are actually working is, instead of marketing to the whole country, stop marketing to just one half of the country, either the East Coast or the West Coast, and then wait 6 months and see what happens to your sales in the half of the country that aren't running the ads. Okay, it's pretty simple to then be able to see the direct impact from what you're doing on YouTube. Now, obviously, this is not going to work if if the YouTube budget you have is just a small percentage of your total advertising budget, which in that case, you have to, make the decision to go all the way with it as you're serious about it, or go home, basically. So you want to spend at least 5 to 10% of your total advertising budget that you have for that product on the YouTube ads, so you can see if you can get a directly measurable increase in your sales in that part of the country that you're setting up as your test market, and then you just see if the sales go up. In a lot of markets, you're also, by the way, going to have to look, not just comparing that 6 months to the preceding 6 months, but year over year. That is, the next 6 months compared to the same 6 months the year before, because sales are so seasonal, to know if those YouTube ads are actually doing anything. That is a much better way to go than the brand recall rates, because that actually tells if you're getting revenue or not. Whereas brand recall rates, that sounds nice. They know who you are, so they're more likely to buy. That is true to an extent, but look into the Taco Bell example, where in the 90s, everybody's heard of that commercial, Yukiro Taco Bell, that whole that Chihuahua dog commercial with the dog on it. They had out during the 90s, and they ran that commercial, almost exclusively in the 90s, instead of the commercials they had before that with the food and showing the tacos and whatnot. And the reason for that was because the brand recall rates were through the roof. Everybody remembered that commercial, because they wouldn't just ask if they were, in studies if they remember the brand, but remember that commercial to know if just to basically prove that the commercial is effective at the ad agency when they were continuing to run that ad to Taco Bell itself, or the brand that owns Taco Bell, in other words, Yum Foods. So they would just kept doing it. The recall rates are high. We should keep running this ad. Therefore, we should keep running this ad. Well, the recall rates on the ad was through the roof, but their sales were going down and down and down, which makes sense, because once you start getting away from marketing the features and benefits and all that of the product or service, naturally that's not going to work. You can get I can think of a million ways to get a high brand recall rate. Doesn't mean that that's going to translate into sales. So you may get a high recall rate, but it's not translating into sales, because a lot of people will buy because you're a brand, but a lot of times also they aren't going to buy necessarily from you because they don't understand why you're better, and you're not building in raw demand for your product or service. So brand recall rates can be a secondary point of interest in terms of determining, where your advertising works, or in this case, YouTube ads work. But you should at least be supplementing this with either the view-through conversions that Google provides by default to you, or the conversion lift study itself. And with view-through conversions, I didn't mention it before, but you can actually have if you're tracking sales on your website or leads on your website, you can actually have things set up. Actually, so I want to stand corrected there. Sales specifically, you can have it to where if somebody views the ad and then buys but didn't click through the ad, you can count that as a conversion in your regular sales tracking inside your Google Ads account, which is what I do. Why? Because people don't typically see an ad and then click through and buy, which is the whole reason why Google reps are giving you this information on brand recall in the first place. And if you're expecting people to see a video ad, clicking through and buy right away, it's never going to look like it's working to you, because very, very few people do that. Now, if you're going to track whether somebody's going to is willing, if you're trying to get someone to see a video ad, click through and turn into a lead and track if you're getting a lead or not as to judge the success of your campaign, that you can do pretty successfully because it's not, the ask is not very much. It's not much to ask them to fill out a form. But if you're asking them to buy, very few people are going to go through, click through and buy instantly. They're going to buy, they're just going to buy on their time schedule, whether that be a week later, a month later, 6 months later, when they're ready, when they get money, when they get paid, whenever. The bigger the ask, the longer the average amount of time is from the time that they see the video ad to the time they actually go ahead and buy. Which is why it's often, by the way, better, even though you're selling a product, to ask somebody to download an ebook, because you can use the ebook conversion tracking to guide your ads. Whereas if you were going for the sale directly, because of the lack of direct data to improve your campaigns with, you never get to a point where you can scale up the campaign. But since you have view-through conversions and you have conversion lift studies, you can actually track whether something works that way, and you don't necessarily need to generate a lead just for tracking purposes and to have data to optimize your campaigns with, because you can actually do things, ultimately, as I mentioned before, one of the biggest factors that you can use to optimize a YouTube campaign is to split up the placements. That is, one channel versus another channel versus another channel. And you could actually have your ads run on a certain channel, but only in Texas, and then see how that increases sales in Texas, versus only have your ads show on another channel for Wisconsin and see how sales increase in Wisconsin as a result of that. And through conversion lift testing, you can use that to be more precise and actually do split testing and make your ads better as a result of that. So, but at the very least, you use all of these data points at your disposal as individual tools to help you do better. So it's nice that these Google reps are so nice to come to us with the brand lift, the recall rate studies that they're doing and giving us that data as a secondary data point. But don't just use it by itself, just because someone can recall your brand doesn't mean they're going to buy from you, because they may buy at a higher rate. But the question is, would they buy at an even higher rate per dollar spent on ads if you were to focus one way versus another way with your actual ads, mentioning something different on your ads, and you would get more results. So it's a data point that correlates with sales, but not as strongly as these other ways to track and see how well you're doing with your YouTube advertising itself, which hopefully I think you can understand what I'm talking about here. You use all of the data at your disposal, not just one, or don't just limit yourself to one. So basically, so to say. So in some cases, the brand recall rates might be the only way to do what you're doing, because naturally you advertise to people way before they're going to buy. One example would be, for instance, if you're trying to sell new homes and you've gotten all the low-hanging fruit of people in market for a new home, and you got to market to people to expand the market share, or to expand the market, if you will, you may not just really have too much to say and do there. You might have to look at brand recall rates as the only way to track what you're doing, so to say, if you will, because it's just, there's too much time, if you will, between the time that they see ads and the time that they buy. There's no other way to track it. But with that said, YouTube brand lift studies, so it's a nice to have feature to help you improve your ads if you're lucky enough to have the Google rep reach out to you and actually give you that data, because it's, like I said, not offered to everybody. You have to be a bigger company with a bigger spend. But if you get it, don't just rely on it by itself to get yourself talked into more ad spend when your ads may not even be profitable, and certainly may need work to be profitable, or you could spend this money somewhere else and get a better return, and use that as your deciding factor, if you will, that will not help you get to your end goal faster, if you will. Anyway, with that said, if you have any questions, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours time. If you have any ad-related question, feel free to ask me. I'm more than happy to answer people's questions on this channel, just as a way of saying thank you for helping the channel grow. As a side, if you are looking for the best source of information of how to run ads for your business to be able to generate millions of dollars in profitable sales for your business every year. This is the channel you want to subscribe to, as the information I'm providing you on this channel is coming from somebody who manages dozens of ad accounts on an ongoing basis to give you the information I'm sharing with you on this channel about what works and what doesn't work in today's environment. As opposed to most of the information you see is coming from people that are selling courses who aren't actually running ads, or they run an ad or two and they don't really have the depth of knowledge to tell you in general what you want to do, what works and what doesn't work, and what situations it works in. So therefore you want to subscribe if you are serious about really making money with your ads, and you should subscribe right away while you still have a chance, if you will. But beyond that, as a side, by the way, I also have a blog that I write at guaranteedppc.com/blog. My blog, as opposed to my channel, has specific step-by-step advice to run certain strategies that are proven and we use time and time again at our agency to guarantee results for our clients and guarantee an increase in profitability from their ads, because that's what we got to do at our agency at Guaranteed PPC to get paid, of which we give those strategies to you for free. And I lay them all out for you there with step-by-step instructions, with screenshots, the whole shebang. If you like the channel, you're going to like the blog as well, so you should also check it out. If you are looking for somebody that can just do and execute on the stuff that I talk about on this channel, that's exactly what I do at our advertising firm here at Guaranteed PPC. If you want to reach out to me to see how much increase in profit I can provide for your company executing these strategies at our firm for you on your behalf, you can reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com and I'll give you a free assessment to see what possibility there is in terms of increasing the profitability from your ads, and if there isn't even a way for me to increase the profitability. The only catch is, we don't naturally charge any fees like I mentioned before we can increase the profitability of your ads. Catch is, though, we got to know we can actually do it. That is, increase your profit coming from your ads before we start. Therefore, we don't work with just any client. We turn a lot of clients down, but if you want to see if we can work together, reach out to me at my firm and I'll be happy to give you a free assessment to see what the possibilities are. As a side, if you're not looking to work with an ad agency per se, we also got ad templates that we've been selling, which are very popular now, which is why I keep bringing it up on this channel. That is, we've worked in over 100 different niche markets in the last 10 years of running this advertising firm, Guaranteed PPC. And if we've worked in your niche market, it would be silly to try to go ahead and try to figure out all the stuff that we had to figure out in your market already when we've already done it for you, and can give you the winning ads, winning landing pages, winning campaign templates that work to generate a certain net result that you're looking for in your market already, which we can sell to you for a one-time fee, and you can literally copy and paste the same results that you want and that we're already getting into your account and get those results like that right away for a small fraction of what it costs us to figure out how to get those results for ourselves. As long as you're in a different geographic area than our client, there's no harm, no foul to use the same exact thing we're using in your market to get the same results in your market, of which, by the way, we can tell you the results we're getting in your market in a different geographic area. We can also do that as well. So if you're interested in that, you can also reach out to me at my firm at guaranteedppc.com. We've got people using these templates, by the way, to start other businesses. If you want the easiest way to start another business on the side, whether it being selling product or selling leads, which we've had several people do, starting lead generation businesses from our templates, that's the easiest place to start, because A, you know that product or service will actually sell and is profitable, and then B, what ads it's going to take to sell it profitably, which we have both with the template we're offering you. So anyway, if you're interested in any of those opportunities as well, you can also reach out to me at my firm at guaranteedppc.com. But I'll wrap everything up with that. Hopefully that made sense to you on today's video, and I'll see you on the next one. See you later.